Legends speak of a goblin so rebellious he could strike fear into the heart of an imperial bureaucrat. That goblin is the Red Gobbo. And today, my friends, destiny has brought us together. My paintbrush and his cheeky little smirk. Will I emerge victorious? Or will this miniature mastermind trick me into painting myself instead? Let's find out! Welcome to my last video for this year, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Alice, Warhammer noob, taking you with me on my painting minis journey. I should also add that I am from Germany, because in this video I will share some Christmas themed German words while I talk you through my process of painting this year's Christmas edition of the Red Gobo. It's my fourth mini I painted so far, but the first time I used a magnifying glass and gloves. Thanks to your suggestions, and it really is a game changer, so thank you so much for your suggestion. It really helps a lot, although sometimes I still struggle to see all the details. As this will be my last official video this year, because I have planned to upload one more video, but it's just for fun actually. I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support and the kind feedback I received from you, this beautiful community. I started this year with my channel and I can't believe how fast it grew. I appreciate all of you and I am eager to do more Warhammer projects next year. So if you don't want to miss them, then subscribe. But back to our Gobbo, I will share with you my painting process and then we are going to do the decoration, the setup together. No mud unfortunately this time, but there will be something else. Maybe you can guess what it could be in a snowball fight. So let's give him his chaotic energy. Let's start with Bob. I call him Bob because if you add one letter to his name, then you know what he's really are. Because he's not a snowman, he's a... I started with a candy cane on his top hat. I'm sure I will use some wrong terms in this video, so I apologize in advance for that. But I will also tell you the German terms, so you'll actually learn a little bit of German today while watching my video. So in German, candy cane is called Zuckerstange and top hat is called Zylinderhut. I actually thought that it's going to be difficult to paint it, but it went smoother than I expected. I then painted the hat black and used the shifter for the hat's highlight. So originally the hat has a chessboard pattern because the hat is from a different character, I guess. But I was not in the mood to do that and I chose the easy way. The skull got a bronze look with Balthasar Gold because I wanted the Retributor armor golds on the real shiny gold on the Red Gobo. So he's shining bright like the explosions he leaves behind. And then the candy cane got a final touch with gloss varnish. So it really looks like an original shiny candy cane and I love the effect. Final touch is a try-on-edge highlighting with white, so it looks a little bit more snowy. Continuing with Bob's body, where I started with a bomb coloring in red. And as I knew that I will paint later over it with silver, then I knew I didn't have to be so careful with the painting. The coal buttons got black again, and for the arms or the branches I used a darker brown, and for the tips of the branches I used Ork Flesh, a new color I got. Also maybe some orcs get poked with these branches. Back to the bomb and painting it in silver, finishing with, of course, Nuln Oil. Don't worry, you will see Bob again in a minute, but first let's paint the base. I used a white primer for priming everything in white. And then I painted the base in a Gryph-Charger Grey because it has a blue touch and I wanted it to look icy. Continuing with the clock, I chose blue just because I wanted to. And then I used the Balthasar Gold again because you will see later why. The grenade and the stand for Bob got silver. I painted the cable in grey and the lamps with the shifters in gold yellow. It really looks like it's shining in the snow and I love that. And here you see why I chose the Balthasar Gold, because I wanted to use for the first time ever a special effect rust for the clock to give it an old and used look, and I was really happy with the result. The Nuln Oil, of course, again for the finishing touches, and here you see the result. And here's the result with Bob. What do you think so far? Have you used the shifters from Vallejo or a special effect like rust? If you have seen one of my other videos, then you know that I used the shifters before and I have much fun with them. Although they are not so easy to apply, you have to be a little bit careful so they are not creating the effect every time you expect them to be. But I thought, especially for this mini, I should use the shifters, for example, for the Christmas baubles. So how do we call them in German? So you have to know that Christmas tree in German is Weihnachtsbaum, because Christmas is Weihnachten and tree is Baum, so Weihnachtsbaum. But we also call the Christmas tree sometimes Christbaum. Christ means Christ, so it's really similar to the English term. Ball-shaped objects are called Kugeln. So a ball-shaped object for a Christmas tree would be then Weihnachtsbaumkugeln or Christbaumkugeln. But enough of that, and let's have a look at Santa's little helper, or sorry, Red Gobbo's little helper. I call him Fritz. I started with his skin and used Gutrippa flesh. The first time ever I used this contrast paint in hope everything will be easy peasy with the face and not like the last time I painted a face where it was all struggles and frustration and curses. If you want to see that, then you should check out my previous Warhammer video. The snowball grenade got the silver treatment, and here you can also see that I painted the lights on the head already black. Then the shifters got onto it, and Fritz got a taste of Nuln Oil. I also painted the rope that attaches the lights to the head in Baneblade Brown. For his clothing I used Ork Flesh, also a contrast paint. But there I struggled a little bit because the finish was not so clean, and I had seen videos before that you have to be careful with the contrast paint, and yes, I agree. I painted the star on his head red, and yep, I got somehow red on my glove and touched the mini, so Fritz's hand was red. This is really annoying, an annoying mistake, because of the contrast paint, you just cannot paint over it. You have to paint the part white again and then repaint it with the contrast paint. So much fun. His pants got red too and his eyes yellow, and then I painted his shoes and his rope belt also in black. This is how Headless Bob and Fritz look together on the base. As you can see, especially on Bob's arms, I dry brushed some white on them, like they have snow on them. And there I'm doing the finishes of Fritz, because I didn't want to hold him the whole time while doing the finishing touches. Yeah, a little bit of details with gold, and as his teeth were too clean, too white, I let him brush his teeth with a skeleton horde, so they are more brownish yellow-like. And the same goes for the head, so it's a little bit dirty. And here's the result. Now to the Red Gobbo. I can't talk like him. I could probably in German, but not in English. So of course he has to wear a red cape and a hat. And for this video I researched the history of this character and was surprised to find out that the Red Gobbo is not one specific grot or Gretchen, I think it's called, but rather an idea of a revolution against the orcs. So basically any grot can become the Red Gobbo, and if this specific grot dies, the Red Gobbo still continues to live because yeah, it's an idea to fight against the slavery of the orcs. And there can also be several Red Gobbos at the same time, because it's a big-ass universe. Okay, back to the painting again, carefully painting red stripes, which was fine. I have to say I slowly acknowledged the practice, although this is only my 4th mini. I told you before that I practice while I film, so you actually can see my progress, which takes, unfortunately, a lot of time. It's a little bit annoying, but I do everything for you guys. Then painting the belt things in black, and same for his shoes. And then he gets, of course, also green skin. The magnifying glass comes in really handy, by the way, really helped me out there with the details. His goggles get a nice silver, also the metal things in his face and the bauble. Same for the snowball grenade and the slugger, so the weapon he has later in his back pocket. I glued it onto him in a later stage because I really hate painting parts when you can't reach them anymore. For example, like it's the case with his leggings, I painted in grey. I then started with the smoke coming from the snowball grenade. I wanted it to look realistic, so I used black, grey and white and the dry brushing technique to create a gradient. And it takes several steps, so you will see a little bit later on. While this coating dries, he also got a taste of Nuln Oil, and his leather thing got Baneblade Brown mixed with white, so it's a little bit brighter than the original Baneblade, because it was too dark without the white, in my opinion. Here all the gold things get their shine, the star on his head and the belt and the thing on his cape, the bullets. The bauble is again with the shifter's paint. And I tried edge highlighting with blue. I have to say edge highlighting is not my strength. And the eyes got blue too. I was happy it didn't end in a disaster. I was actually a little bit surprised it went that smooth. Back to the smoke, where you just see the different layers, the result in between, but as the grenade is already burning, there has of course to be a little bit of fire. So I used some red, brushed over it with a little bit of black, then again a little bit of red, brushing over it, then the shifters in yellow, brushing over it, shifters again, brushing over it, then yellow, brushing over it. And that's the final result. I am really happy with the outcome, and it even looks better in real life. And this is Red Gobbo with his friends Bob and Fritz and their snowball war. Let's finish then with some Nuln Oil and skeleton horde for this leather thing. And the Red Gobbo, of course, brushes his teeth with it too. And for the last step, I dry brushed nearly everything in white to create a snow effect. It's actually a little bit more paint than you are supposed to use for dry brushing, but I wanted it to look like it in this case. And here we are, but we are not finished yet, because of course the surrounding, the environment, the final decoration is missing, and I want that to do with you together. Usually I do the most difficult part with you, so I film myself struggling while I paint. But I thought with this mini there is no real difficulty. And I have to say, in comparison to the other minis I painted, it was a little bit easier, and I was happy about that. So, what have I prepared? There's unfortunately no mud this time. I'm actually a little bit sad, because I'm the mud angel, but this time I am a snow angel, of course, because I have here snow, or Schnee in German. I also have this lid for an ice cream box, and I have small trees. there you go. And glue, of course. In the meantime, while I'm working on this, I will tell you about the Christmas tradition in Germany. Maybe we'll start where it's not so bad if it's not working out. I also have a brush I will probably throw away after that when the glue is in it. And you see that, the glue also dissolves a little bit the paint. Does it work like I want it to work? Does it even make sense to do it like that? What if I use super glue? Is it the same that it dissolves the paint? Let's try. Well, I could also just put it into the snow, but I also want to have a few parts, like for example here on the branch. No! It's going to end in a disaster. I am not so convinced of my idea. And I haven't forgotten that I wanted to tell you about the Christmas tradition in Germany, but let me just first find out if I can do anything here. Oh, it would be great to have him some snow under his boots. Like mud. I want it to work like mud. Okay, but you know what? It's more difficult than I imagined. I will just do a normal decoration. So in Germany, we are celebrating Christmas from the 24th to 26th December, whereas the 24th is the most important day, because in the evening, so Christmas Eve, or as we say Heiligabend, so basically Holy Eve, there is the time where you get the presents, so the gift giving, distribution of presents, so it's called in German Bescherung. So it's not the 25th, it's the evening before that. And families celebrate with their own traditions. So for example, some go to church, some sing together, play games, watch Christmas movies, so it's really depending on the family's traditions. And on the 25th and 26th, you usually visit other family members that you didn't see on the 24th, and there you also get presents, for example. More snow! Okay, but who brings the presents? So we have also Santa Claus, and he's called Weihnachtsmann, so basically Christmas man. But there's also another character called Christkind. I don't know if it's if there is a correct English term for that, because the translator told me it's baby Jesus. But it really is not right, because the Christkind, so basically Christ child, is more like an angel with blonde curly hair, for example, like this. And it really depends on the family's tradition. For my family, we had the Christkind, and when it has been there, my parents were bringing with a small bell, so you knew as a child when you were allowed to run into the living room and when you get the presents. And we do not have an elf on the shelf, for example, although I have the feeling more families are adapting that now from the USA. Focuses also on family, a lot of food. That's what every family has in common, I think. A lot of good food. Yeah, and that's it. How do you celebrate Christmas? Let me know in the comments. Of course, you will get a close-up now. And here is my Red Gobbo. Oh, look, Bob's head is falling off. Everything's full of snow, and it was a little bit more chaotic than I thought it would be. But I think we can all agree on who is responsible for this chaos. What do you think about my version of the Red Gobbo? Let me know in the comments. I am happy to hear your feedback, any suggestions, any stories about Christmas, your traditions, for example. I'm happy to hear them. If you want to make me a Christmas present, then please leave a like, a comment and a sub if you haven't done that yet. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and also thank you so much for your support again. I wish you a wonderful Christmas and already a Happy New Year. I see you in the next video. Merry Christmas.